Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Awaken and Achieve. We've all been there. The late nights, the endless effort, the feeling that nothing is working. You start to wonder if maybe you're just not meant to make it. But here's the truth. Persistence is not a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill, a science. And when you understand how it works, you can train yourself to keep going when most people quit. In this video, we're going to break down the psychology of never giving up, the brain chemistry, the mindset shifts, the emotional tools, and the habits that will make persistence your superpower. Let's dive in. December 2008. Tesla was just weeks away from going bankrupt. Elon Musk had burned through his personal fortune. The company's stock had crashed, and investors had walked away. He had every reason to quit. But instead of giving up, he made one last, desperate gamble, pouring in his final $20 million, money he couldn't afford to lose. Weeks later, a government loan came through. Tesla survived. Today, it's worth over $700 billion. And here's the crazy part. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. So let me ask you, what if the only difference between you and your dreams is just one more try? The biology of grit. Here's the thing, persistence isn't just willpower. It's biology. When you take action toward a goal, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of anticipation and reward. It's what makes you feel excited about possibilities. But here's the catch. Dopamine isn't released only when you achieve the big goal. It spikes every time you make tiny progress. Write one paragraph, dopamine. Run one extra minute, dopamine. It's your brain saying, yes, keep going. But most people never get this far. They're wired to expect instant results. And when they don't see them, dopamine levels crash. That's when doubt takes over. That's when quitting feels easier than pushing forward. Science shows that the point where you feel the strongest urge to give up is usually the point right before your biggest breakthrough. Because right before success, your brain is under the most stress, pushing past its limits, reprogramming old patterns. And that discomfort, that's the signal you're growing, not failing. So the next time your mind screams, I can't do this, remember, it's just your brain's way of testing if you're serious about what you want. Mindset shift from outcome to process. Here's one of the biggest reasons people give up. They obsess over the outcome instead of the process. When you're chasing a goal, you can't control when the breakthrough comes. You can't control how fast the world notices, but you can control how much effort you put in today. Think about Olympic athletes. They don't wake up every morning thinking, I need to win gold. They wake up thinking, I need to show up to training and give my best. Gold medals are the byproduct of thousands of boring, consistent, unseen days of work. This is called process-oriented thinking. Instead of measuring success by whether you've reached the mountaintop, you measure it by whether you climb today. Why does this work? Because the brain loves progress. When you focus on the daily action, not the faraway prize, you give yourself small wins every single day. These wins trigger dopamine, which fuels more action, which creates more wins. It's a self-sustaining loop. The danger of outcome obsession? You delay your sense of success until some far-off moment. And when that moment doesn't come fast enough, you feel like you've failed, even if you're actually making massive progress. So here's the shift. Don't wake up asking, will I win today? Wake up asking, did I show up today? Because showing up is the only thing that ever leads to winning. The emotional armor. Let's be real. Persistence isn't just about pushing your body. It's about protecting your mind. Because the truth is, chasing big dreams is an emotional battle. You will be rejected. You will be doubted. You will fail. The people who make it aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who build emotional armor. What does that mean? First, they stop taking rejection personally. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. Colonel Sanders heard no over 1,000 times before someone said yes to his fried chicken recipe. They didn't see rejection as proof they weren't good enough. They saw it as feedback that they hadn't found the right door yet. Second, they reframe failure. Instead of thinking, I failed, so I'm done, they think, I failed, so I learned. Every setback is data. Every no is information. And that information, if used right, becomes your unfair advantage. And third, they manage their inner voice, because your biggest critic will always live in your own head. The key is not to silence that voice, you won't, but to talk back, to say, yes, I'm scared. Yes, I'm tired, but I am still moving forward. That's emotional armor, not the absence of wounds, but the ability to keep walking even while they heal. The persistence blueprint. Okay, let's make this practical. Here's the persistence blueprint. 5 things you can start doing today to train grit like a muscle. The 1 more rep rule. When you feel done, do 1 more. 1 more email, 1 more page, 1 more push-up. It's a small win that teaches your brain you can go further than you think. Micro goals. Break your big dream into goals so small they're impossible to fail. Want to write a book? Start with write 50 words today. Small wins stack. Stacked wins become momentum. The 24-hour rule. Whenever you feel like quitting, don't decide today. Give it 1 more day, 1 more attempt. Most emotional decisions are temporary. Give persistence the chance to win. The environment check. Surround yourself with people, places, and routines that make quitting harder. If you're trying to work out, put your shoes by the door. If you're trying to start a business, spend time with builders, not complainers. Progress tracking. Write down every step you take toward your goal, no matter how small. On days you feel stuck, that list will remind you, you are moving forward. Persistence isn't about being superhuman. It's about having a system that makes giving up harder than continuing. Because when you make persistence automatic, success becomes inevitable. Remember this, every person you admire once stood where you are now. Tired, doubtful, ready to walk away. The only difference? They gave it 1 more try. Your breakthrough might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. But if you quit, it will never come. So today, just take 1 more step. Because the psychology of never giving up isn't about never falling. It's about never staying down. If this message hit you today, it's not by accident. It's because there's something you're working on, something worth fighting for, and deep down, you know you can't walk away from it yet. So here's my challenge. Pick 1 thing you've been ready to quit, and give it 1 more try. Then come back tomorrow, and do it again, because you're closer than you think. And your future self is already thanking you for not giving up today.